by Regier. This is the big bill on marijuana, an act generally revising laws related to marijuana, limiting the purchase of marijuana in a dispensary to registered card holders, Mr. Chair.
Motion has been made to move to pass on Senate Bill 546. Do we have discussion?
Mr. Chair, we heard lots of testimony pro and against on this bill. Some of the discussion, Mr. Chair, was what was the intent and what we're trying to do with the marijuana processes. If we don't try and get a handle on the THC levels that have hampered individuals, for now this is coming from my standpoint in the proponent side, impairing them, and getting it into our youth. If we're not going to do it now, when are we going to do it? Maybe we're never going to do it, and that's a decision that, you know, the state has made a call, the citizens have voted, then they gave it to us, and what people don't remember when we did Senate Bill or House Bill 701, there were so many things left open that we had to come in and take action and fix it and put it in the right place and have money allocated. A lot of people didn't like how we did it, but that is our job. So with this bill, what they're trying to do is help reduce the amount of THC levels. I also have the concerns, which we've talked before, about getting it into our youth in the form of what are they called?
Concentrates.
Yeah, the concentrates, but in vaping. So I had my superintendent of one of my schools call me and said, please, you know, continue or help with this bill, because she's right out in front of the highway, and then there's vaping shops and distillery shops and just marijuana shops popping all up. And we have 32 on our little stretch of highway. And she asked me, she says, you know, I, as the superintendent, have seen the effects of this. Kids aren't supposed to have this. That's the law. But why do my kids come here stoned? Not every day, and not all of them, but periodically, and they go and then she sees them, and she says it isn't a lot of the times always at school, but she says I go out and visit in the community, and I see these kids. Now, if we're promoting this so good, which is what, you know, the marijuana industry has done a good job at, some of the concern that I had was when we had 240 the first year, now we're up to 460, and we estimated maybe get 300, and we're way over that. We doubled that. So Mr. Chairman, I'm concerned that's what the bill is trying to reduce. We also have some signage issues. Was brought up, wasn't brought up. I took a picture and I didn't pass it around. I need to give it to Miss Barber, because in our neck of the woods, I have a sign right out on a street that I go by almost every day that says marijuana dispensary, and with an arrow going this way. And so I asked the president, Ellsworth, I said, we've been working on these bills for a long time. I thought this wasn't allowed, and he said, it's not. So they're abusing that. And so if you remember in the committee, I told Miss Barber that I have some people, you have people that monitor these things. Who does the monitoring? Who investigates? And she said, yes, we do have, and we have 2 people that live in the Flathead. And I said, well, they're not monitoring this one. Do you know about this one? She said, no. So I took pictures this last weekend when I was home, going to pass that along. So, Mr. Chair, I think this is a good bill that gets the process continued to talk about. Adults can do what they want. We can't stop it, not going to try. But when it can get down to the youth, like my superintendent has said, why are we allowing this? It's visible. It's a lot of places. If you go to other cities, you know, I've been to Vegas, and I'm saying, man, we have changed society to accept this thing. And we did that years ago with alcohol. We had the pro and the con, and then we kind of decided where we wanted to go with alcohol. That's an adult decision. I'm just trying to protect our youth. So I thought this was a good bill. So if there's any way that we could move it forward and have a bigger discussion, that would be great. If not, we're having a little bit of it now, so I appreciate the people that are trying to do something. And then I also brought up, I don't know if I brought it up in committee or not, but I did in our interim committee, that I have seen evidence of what marijuana can do to people in my employees. So if you go back and look at that, I had one guy that was with me almost 4 years, and then he got hurt, and so he started using municipal. Now, this is partially on this bill, that's why I'm bringing it up. And the phrase I'm using is, we're dumbed down. He was a sharp guy. He would forget things. I had to remind him. Homeowners would call me on my restoration business. They would call and say, hey, my door's left open. He was the last one there. Hey, I thought you were going to take this stuff down in. It was on his list to do. And he said, oh, I forgot. So I see this happening with this guy. I said, what's going on? We got to have a visit. He became a supervisor. And I go, man, I'm going to have to take that job away from you because you're in charge and you're the last one to monitor. And guess what? You left the door open. You left this on. There was a fireplace thing. They asked us to do something with it. You didn't do that. I wrote it up for you. So the process, people can do what they want, but I have seen some effects. So anyway, Mr. Chair, I know I've taken a long time. I appreciate your indulgence. I know where the bill's going, but I just wanted to let that be on record that
2 minutes.
We're trying, Mr. Chair, and I'm done.
Thank you, Senator Curdy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members. I understand the concern, and I have to appreciate Senator Nolan and the work that the interim committee did on this. We put a bill together in the last days of the last session, and we missed some things. That's normal for a lot of bills like that, that size. But I appreciate the interim committee for stepping up, trying to take care of the issues that were left undone and working with the department. And I think that's great. I do have concerns. I wish we'd focus a little more on potency in this issue. I think that's one of the things that's really driving this conversation. But also on the other hand, I'm really nervous about undoing the people's will. And that really concerns me. Yes, we're going to have to continue to ride herd on advertising and some other things go along with this, but I think taking this kind of step at this point, I'm really reluctant to do that, Mr. Chair.
Hey, thank you. I guess I'll throw my 10 cents in too. I think this is a really big bill with a lot of really big changes, really late in the ball game. I mean, there is some good stuff in here, but it would also take a considerable amount of time to get this thing whipped into shape where it's palatable and doesn't destroy what we have going already. So I guess on a personal level, I'll be a no on this one, and I think we can take some of these ideas and still be able to move them along though.
Questions?
Okay, questions have been called. Let's do a roll call vote on Senate Bill 546.
Senator Curdy?
No.
President Ellsworth?
No.
Senator Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Senator Fox?
No.
Senator Gillespie?
Yes.
Senator Noland?
Yes.
Senator Pope?
Senator Pope votes no by proxy.
Senator Sales?
No.
Senator Vermeer?
Yes.
Chairman Small?
No.
The vote is 4-6.
Okay, motion fails.
Mr. Chair, I move to table Senate Bill number 546.
Motion's been made to table Senate Bill 546. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Senator Pope votes aye by proxy.
Mr. Chair, President Ellsworth and Senator Fitzpatrick are aye by proxy. Mr. Chair, we have another small bill before